That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the safe ball and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through. Well, welcome to sunny Cumbria for this Betfred League One clash between Workington Town and title-chasing Oldham, looking to extend their lead at the top of the table. Of course, alongside me for this one, Steve McCormack. Steve, on paper, obviously this game slants heavily in one direction, but this can be a very tricky place for teams to come.
Yeah, historically it always has. You know, it's a beautiful part of the world, isn't it? But it's not beautiful when you come up here and yet the away side. And big game for both sides for different reasons, really. I think the Oldham side, very impressive. Probably not found it as easy as they maybe thought they would do, or people outside the club thought they would do. Workington struggled a little bit with some of the results, but I'm sure Anthony Murray will have his team well prepared.
Yeah, Workington doing it tough, with injuries especially against this star-studded Oldham team. But if you look at their last couple of results, 2-point losing margins in both, they can take some confidence from the performances and the way that they come into this game.
Yeah, 100%. The one thing that Anthony does with his teams, he gets the best out of his teams. You know, historically, wherever he's been coaching, he's done that, and he's doing that again. They are doing it a bit tough with injuries. They brought a couple in this week, so that'll strengthen the squad. But yeah, it's got to be difficult at home. You know, when you come to the Cumbrian clubs, Whitehaven, Workington, you've got to win your home games, and Workington have got to start doing that. And they've had a couple of close ones. Star-studded Oldham team coming, but there'll be a big crowd, and I'm sure it'll be a cracker.
We'll kick off, getting ever closer. Let's get the thoughts of both head coaches. Anthony, thank you for joining us. Firstly, how's your week been? Obviously, some new bodies over the line. How's the squad going into this one?
We'd obviously come early on it week, like we was really struggling with a couple of injuries and some technical issues why some players couldn't play. But with a bit of hard work and my phone never stopped ringing, managed to get a couple over the line to make sure we got 17 bodies out today. So yeah, really pleased and grateful and thankful to the clubs that have loaned us players, and we've managed to get Brad Brennan over the line, who currently left Rochdale, and I know Brad really well, coached him for about 9 seasons with Crusaders, so managed to get Brad over the line. He's got to be our player till the end of the season, so really pleased about that.
You've been on the tough end of some very tight margins in the last few weeks. Do you take kind of confidence from those performances and knowing how close you were, or is that a kind of tough thing to get yourself over?
No, it is. It's both really. It's tough to get over because we should have got more out of the game than what we did, but you also gain confidence from it because you know your players are having a dig, they're putting their hand up, they're listening to instructions, and they're trying their best and competing, and that's all I can sort of ask for them. We've dealing with a bit of adversity in terms of players getting injured, players playing busted, players playing out of position, but most teams are like that, and that's rugby, and you've got to deal with it, and we're dealing with it well. We're working hard for one another, and been really unfortunate to lose 2 games with 2 points is real tough to take, but we also take some confidence out of that, and hopefully it'll come together soon, and we'll get the rub of the green on an occasion.
Obviously perfect conditions today, but how important is it that you make this place a really tough place for teams to come?
We've tried to do that all season. That teams coming up here sort of know what to expect, that we'll rip in and we'll get stuck in and try and make it difficult for teams. So for me, it's just about us competing at every game, whether we're playing at home or away, and trying to get results coming towards obviously just over the middle end of the season really.
Obviously this Oldham team today very well fancied at the beginning of the season. They've stayed relatively true to those predictions. What's the message to your team about kind of handling that?
Just to make sure we pay them respect, but don't give them too much respect. We've got to make sure we stick to our processes. We've got to make sure we believe in what we're doing, and make Oldham compete for everything, and let's not make it easy for them. And that's what the aim is today, is to go out there, be competitive, and make a contest of it, and challenge Oldham in every area that we can.
Well, Sean, thank you for joining us. How's your week been? How's your squad looking coming into this?
Yeah, week's been good. Prep's been good after the Newcastle win, and we're building off the back of that. Like I said, we've got a couple of lads back this week. Joe Wallow's back, Ben O'Keefe, Brad Gallagher's in the squad, so it's good to have some fresh bodies.
You mentioned that Newcastle win. Obviously games you're expected to win, but did you kind of take a lot of positives out of the performance on top of the result?
Yeah, I think we're learning every week, and if you don't go into the game with the right mindset, then you're going to be in for a a tough game for 60 or 80 minutes, so we focused on starting fast and kind of not like dipping our toe in the water.
Everyone obviously talking about the rivalry, the kind of chase between you and Keighley, but games like this, I suppose if you don't win these, then you're not in that contest either.
100%, and we've found out that a few times. We've, took teams lightly or gone down with the wrong attitude, and we've been stung a bit. So we've had a good chat with the lads, and lads have resetted. It was good to get the break, and then I think looking at Workington's last two results, I think they've been outdone by, if I'm being honest. They've been in the game and should have probably won the game, so we know we're in for a real physical battle today.
Yeah, notoriously difficult place to come, this one. How do you go about kind of making sure you get things right, especially in those early 20-30 minutes of the game?
Well, that's it. You know what I mean? You don't win the game in the first 20 or 30 minutes, but you can go a long way to actually getting in the cycle and, setting the tone of the game. So I think if we start fast, we're a good team when we start fast.
Yeah, you're very welcome to a fibrous community stadium here in Workington, bathed in sunshine. A perfect afternoon to watch rugby league in a very beautiful part of the country. Betfred League One action on the menu this afternoon. Workington Town against Oldham. Let's have a run through the teams. Starting off with the home side, who start with Zarin Gelia at fullback, Richard Lepori, a new signing this week, Tommy Briley on the wings with Chris Taylor and Ethan Bickerdike in the centres, and Kieran Walker, Carl Forber, all that experience in there, of course, make up the halfback pairing for the home side. JJ Key, Connor Swordiners and Stephen Scoley make up the front row, with Jack Stevenson and Jake Bradley behind them in the second row, and Matthew Henson locking in the pack. And coming off the interchange bench, another new signing this week, Bradley Brennan. He's joined by Grant Reid and Pone Tongia, and Tyler Charlton completes the 17 for Anthony Murray's Workington Town team this afternoon. They come up against an Oldham team at the top of the table, of course. Sights set on promotion, but this afternoon they line up with Phoenix Alona Togagai, PLT, of course, at fullback. Jack Johnson, Kean Tyra are the wingers, with Ben O'Keefe and Nathan Arobak inside them in the centres. Danny Craven, mainstay at this level, of course, alongside Logan Astley in the halves. And they've got a front row of Owen Farnworth, Matty Wildy and Jay Chapelhow fronting the pack, with George Hurst and Elijah Taylor in behind them, and Pat Moran completing the 13 for Oldham. Coming off the bench, Bailey Aldridge, Joe Wardle returns to the fold for Sean Long's side. Ted Chapelhow and Craig Kopchak will provide the reinforcements for Oldham this afternoon. So there's your two sides. Alongside me in the commentary box, Steve McCormack. You know this part of the world, of course, obviously more associated with your time down the road, but some special memories here as well.
Oh yeah, fantastic memories, Lewis. We've had some great times, tough times as well. It was always tough, the Whitehaven Workington derbies, and more recently with Scotland on this ground as well, against New Zealand and Tonga and Italy. So yeah, some fantastic times, and as you mentioned before, it's a beautiful setting, great part of the world, and looking forward to an excellent game.
Yeah, that Scotland-New Zealand game will live long in the memory. Very different conditions on that night, of course, to what we've got here, but a fantastic game of rugby league football on the menu, of course. As we mentioned at the top of the show, Oldham heavily slated as favourites in this one, but when you look at the performances from a Workington perspective, the margins of defeat, they've been narrow. A defeat is a defeat, but there's an opportunity today to build on those performances.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're at home as well, which is really, really important. You mentioned about Workington being a fortress, and they've got to get back to doing that. Some of the performances probably haven't come out in the wins, but Anthony Murray, speaking to him before the game, is pretty confident. They have been decimated through injuries, but he doesn't make any excuses, does Anthony? So they'll be expecting, they know exactly what's coming. Oldham's an outstanding team, had some great results and big favourites to get promoted, but coming here and hopefully we'll see the best of Workington.
Well, you can see Workington making it into the sheds in those special Rob Burrow warm-up jerseys. There will be a minute's applause in memory of Rob before this game this afternoon. Everyone at the Sportsman, of course, our thoughts are with his family and friends at this time. An absolute inspiration. You can watch our Rob Burrow tribute special of The Last Tackle right here on this YouTube channel. It's been wonderful to see the way that the game has marked and remembered the great man over the last couple of weeks. So we had emotional minutes applause, I'm sure, before this game, but once the game is underway, Steve, Oldham, we spoke to Sean Long about it, they'll look to start fast, won't they?
Yeah, they will. I've been really impressed with the way Sean Long and this Oldham side's gone about this division. It's a tough division. It's a lot tougher than a lot of people think, and I think they've had one defeat so far, and people were saying that they would go through this division undefeated, and realistically that wasn't going to happen. But you're right, the fast start is something that they're renowned for. The one thing that they are really good at is obviously scoring points. So a key area to this game is Workington's kicking game. If you give Oldham good ball, good field position, they generally score some points with the players they've got in their squad. So Sean Long will be well aware of the challenge that the team's going to be up against today. But when they do get in that field position and you do get the players they've got hands on the ball and give them time and space, they can punish any team.
Yeah, I was talking to Carl Amor about this game, obviously a native of Whitehaven just up the road, and he was kind of saying that there's something almost unexplained about teams having to travel to these Cumbrian clubs that just makes it a little bit harder. I don't know if it's the travel or just the fact that it's that little bit colder or any of the conditions, but the teams do struggle up here.
They do. It's a tough part of the world, isn't it? It's working class, very parochial crowd. Coming in today, speaking to a lot of the supporters. They're looking forward to the big guns, and that's what we always faced, and we always probably drilled into the team that we was always the underdogs. And that's what the Cumbrian people thrive on. It's a great area. Hard working, very parochial. And it's a difficult place to come, and they've got to feed on that. The Workington team's got to feed on this.
Yeah, good crowd building up around us. Plenty of Oldham fans travelled as well, and why wouldn't you on a day like today? Absolutely glorious, perfect conditions for rugby league. So hopefully we get a game to match as we see Oldham head coach Sean Long coming out of the tunnel. Seems to be really enjoying his time with Oldham, a big project, as we know, with the investment that's come into the club and the ambition that they've got back at Boundary Park. An opportunity today to put 2 more points next to their name on the league table and take a step closer to promotion as they battle away with the Keighley Cougars at the top. So here come Oldham out onto the field. And as I've just mentioned, top of the table, but a tough 80 minutes against the Workington team that'll be looking to bite back after some tough results recently. I mentioned those previous 2 games, losing by just 2 points. I'll be interested to see what kind of effect that has on them mentally.
Yeah, I think you're looking at the team sheet and some of the players coming out of that tunnel now with the Oldham jerseys on, just loads of experience. Even on the bench, you normally tell the strength of a team by the bench, and Oldham's got that. They've also got some really exciting youngsters in, Logan Astley in there and Kean Tyre and a few of the other ones. But as you said, they've got to make it difficult. Workington have got to start really well and make it as difficult as they possibly can for this Oldham team.
Well, here come Workington Town in front of their home crowd, an opportunity to spring an upset today that would really send the locals home happy. Tough proposition, of course, this Oldham side, but Workington will believe on their home paddock. They can put 80 minutes in today to make a real statement. As I mentioned, as the teams line up next to each other, we will be having a moment of applause in memory of the late, great Rob Burrow, whose name is on the back of all of those Workington Town warm-up shirts. And I've even seen a couple of Leeds Rhinos jerseys in the crowd who were walking around the ground early with his name on the back. So a moment's pause and a moment's applause in memory of the rugby league legend that is Rob Burrow. So a fitting tribute to an absolute legend of our game, Steve. It's been an emotional few weeks, hasn't it, for everyone involved in the sport?
Yeah, it has, and what an inspiration, both Rob and his family have been, over a large number of years now as well. And the one thing that our sport does really, really well, it comes together when we need each other, and this is another great example of that.
Yeah, remarkable scenes, of course, on Friday night at Headingley, Leeds' first home game since the passing of Rob Burrow, and a really nice tribute here in Workington as Oldham gets set to get us underway then in this Betfred League One clash. And Nicholas Bennett is your referee.
It's on you.
And he just checks with his touch judges for getting us underway. So here we go, 80 minutes. Live and exclusive here on the Sportsman. Betfred League One action. It's Workington Town, the home side, who will get us underway with first taste of the football.
That's fine.
Really important early on, isn't it, Steve, that they just get into these sets, complete early, no errors, and get a good kick in.
Yeah, certainly. They've got somebody in Carl Forber who knows this ground, inside out, so it's a promising start. They've had a couple of good carries from the front. And we'll look for that good kick and trying to pin this Oldham team in their own 10.
So JJ Key plays the ball on the 30-metre line. Oldham's defence up quick as Matty Henson takes the next carry. Limited in the meters that he can make. The kick will go in from the play the ball, looking to turn PLT around for Oldham, but he does well just to flick it back inside. A referee's got a decision to make here. He says he's okay. Went backwards. A few of the locals may disagree with that decision, but it is Oldham ball, and they are carrying it from 10 metres off their own line. But actually, Anthony Murray and his team will be pretty pleased with that first set.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're kicking from 9 as well. Forber is the main kicker, but a lot of pressure will be put on him. So the fact that they've got a hooker that can kick from dummy half, and they're probably a little bit unfortunate not to get the ball back from a knock on there.
So Moran carrying for Oldham, wildly at dummy half. Anthony Murray spoke about injuries affecting his side. Sean Long's had some problems as well. Some big names missing from that lineup this afternoon too, as that kick's fielded pretty easily by Richard Lepori, a loan signing coming into Workington this week. The likes of Adam Lawton missing today for Oldham. Makes a big difference to any size. Workington with the ball on their own 40-metre line, looking to bring it up over halfway. That's a good carry. Put onto his back though, so it's a slower play of the ball, but Town just making steady progress as Scully takes it up the middle, but he's met well by the Oldham defence. Big contact coming in. He keeps hold of possession, plays the ball, but then the first error of the game. Matty Henson, who just doesn't take the ball with him. That's a real shame from a Workington perspective, because they've been doing a lot of right things there.
Yeah, it was promising. They had a little go at this Oldham short side on that left-hand side. The forwards were going forward, but the big thing is you've got to complete the sets. They can't go back-to-back. They've just gifted this Oldham team good ball in the halfway line, and I think Anthony Murray will be very disappointed with that set.
So Oldham with the scrum just inside their own half. They move into Workington territory with the first carry. So Wildy at the play the ball, just goes himself to begin with and then drops it on the inside to Astley, who's moved into the half since the introduction of Phoenix Lauratoga guy into this Oldham side, and now they come out to the left. Jay Chapelhow brought down 35 metres away from the Workington line. Here's Moran. Now they come out the back, Toga guy. It's Ben O'Keefe who's brought down on this near side. Good progress being made by Oldham in this set. They'll be looking to sniff out for some points, if not a repeat set in this. Owen Farnworth brought down pretty much dead centre. This is the last options left and right. They come out to the right hand side and keep the ball alive. Now they're looking for an overlap. Craven just stabs it through. It's come off a Workington player. The referee says it was brought in cleanly, so home side survive, and an early feather in their cap, just surviving that little period of pressure.
Yeah, I think that's a really good defensive effort there from this Workington team. The one thing that this Oldham side can do, they've got the middles, people like Pat Moran, that can pass pre-line, pass right at the line, and they'll just link the forwards and the backs up. And Workington defended that really, really well, because there was all threats that this Oldham team can have, and they came up with a real good defensive set.
Okay, play on.
So again, Workington looking to clear the lines, and they'll get a penalty to help. So an opportunity to get the ball into Oldham territory. Just have a look at it again.
You got to touch, son. On you then.
Yeah, just over rotation in the tackle, isn't it? I think it's Owen Farnworth who just got his calculations a little bit wrong there, and that's a good kick from the penalty. That really has marched Workington into Oldham territory. So what can they do? Full set. Starting off in Oldham's half, as Scully brings it up to the 30-metre line. Workington with all of their shape stacked out to the right, and that's the way that they come, but the ball goes back inside to Henson. Carl Forber, as you mentioned, so much experience at this level. A real key man in that Workington Town back line as Jake Bradley carries it in. He's brought down probably 15 metres away. So a good opportunity this for Workington. Henson again to bring it round the back. That's Jack Stevenson, who's eventually brought down inside the 10. Come out to the left, Forber. The kick stabs through. And it's 6 again. The referee wipes the clock. It came off an Oldham player and was scooped up by Workington, and all of a sudden the home side have a huge opportunity to get the first points on the board.
Yeah, it's great work. It's a double set there. It was an error there from this Oldham team as well. Just going to show the key influence that Forber does have in this team. But a real test for this Oldham defence now.
So Henson plays the ball and they come out to the right. Oldham's defence level to it as JJ Key tries to break his way through. Comes to the right again. It's another short grubber kick, just pushing towards the end of the in goal, and I think he's just done enough, the Oldham winger. Yep. So O'Keefe, I think, has just shepherded that. Well, Nathan Roebuck, sorry, I think he's just shepherded that out dead. So an opportunity for Oldham from the 20-metre restart to get straight back up to the other end, and a nice little cut and thrust already developing to this game.
It was, yeah. I think both sides have shown their intentions early on, but it's a disappointing end to the set. You know, it was a double set. You know, so this Oldham side had defended 11 tackles on the trot, and they've got a 7-tackle set now coming away from that. So the back end of the set against good sides, you've got to do better than that.
Here's Pat Moran for Oldham. Tackled on the 40-metre line. Wildy brings us back out to the left to Chapelhow. He drops it off to Owen Farnworth, who carries up over the 30-metre line up towards the 20. Again, they come left. Craven just with a little reverse ball into George Hurst, who shrugs off a couple of tackles. Still going. Eventually brought down. This is the last, so one more tackle for Oldham to try and force something with. They'll come out to the right. Here's Astley. Just a little show and go. They could have the numbers on the right-hand side. Workington's defence gets across, and they've done really, really well, because just for a split second, it looked like Oldham had worked the overlap. Scramble defence really good from Workington Town.
Yeah, well, you want your first line to be solid, but when it's broken, you want your scramble, like this Workington team just did now. It's a nailed-on try, but superb work from this Workington defence. 2-3 tacklers just pushing them over the dead ball line. Fantastic defensive work from Workington.
Yeah, Zoring Galia and Bickerdike in there. It was Jack Johnson who found himself in space for Oldham, but very quickly found that space closed down. And we'll talk about the small wins. Anthony Murray will be talking that one up, and a penalty for Workington as well. So Oldham, they'll be a little bit annoyed at themselves, I think, at some of these early mistakes.
Yeah, well, they've just let this Workington team out their own half very easy in the last 2 sets. First one was a tip tackle from Farnworth, and then on that occasion they've done exactly the same thing. You know, so it's very easy for Workington to get out their own 15-20 metre line, and you know, within 2 or 3 tackles, Workington are in this good ball area. So Sean Long won't be happy with that defensive start.
So Workington up and over halfway. 9 minutes played, no points on the board. Come out to the left-hand side. They stopped just short of the Oldham 40-metre mark. Now, good play out the back, and again the opportunity is just space opening up a little bit. Forber, it was on that occasion, who's reeled in. Connor Saunders now at acting half, gives it to Henson. Henson drops it back inside to Scully. He's eventually brought down. Not a huge amount of progress made in those last couple of tackles of the set, so they'll go to Forber's boot. It puts it up high. The chase is good, but so is the take. And Oldham, again, starting a set deep inside their own territories.
Yeah, initially it was good kick pressure there from Wildy from the Oldham side, and really interesting. I think the sun's shining on Cian Tyra's wing, so Ford was targeting that wing side, but he took it under immense pressure and just enabled Oldham to get on the front foot.
Oldham making reasonable progress though. That's Logan Astley just darting out of a few tackles. Brought down just short of the 40-metre line. Chapelhouse to Moran. This is the last, so kicking from inside their own half, but perhaps an opportunity for Danny Craven to turn Workington's back three around, and in fact, he's kicked for the sideline and he's found a really good touch. And Workington will have a lot of work to do from inside their own territory as this game just starts to settle into a little bit of an arm wrestle.
Yeah, I think both sides will be pleased with that, won't they? You know, just it's been going toe to toe. You know, a couple of repeat sets which both sides have had to defend. But it was a good kick. It was outstanding pressure. I know I mentioned it previously with Wildy, but you want your kickers or your opposition kickers to be kicking on your terms, and it was fantastic kick pressure again from the Workington side, and you know, it just gives a little bit of a break and this Workington side to try and get out their own 20-metre line.
Oh, really good pressure from the Oldham defence there, forcing Workington back towards their own 10-metre line. A big set from an Oldham perspective if they can pin Workington in, of course. Giving away a couple of penalties the last time that we've been in this part of the field, so Sean Long will be keen that this side avoid doing that again. Workington just looking to stretch a little bit, but the line speed is good from Oldham, so metres restricted again, and again the kick comes in from dummy half, and Togagai does well. Backpedaling to take that in, and now looks to return it with interest. Big shot goes in from Chris Taylor. Referee happy with it though, and we'll continue up over halfway, and here in Tyra just making some progress. Chapelhouse finds his front, gets a reasonably quick play the ball, and Oldham on the front foot again through Farmworth. He breaks through a tackle, just gets his nose through the line before he's stopped. A little bit of a roll on here, Oldham. Chapelhouse again. This is Astley. They come out to load a Togagai. He tries to burst through the line, gets the offload away. Again, that Workington defence scrambles really well to keep Oldham out, and this is the last. So one more tackle for Workington to withstand, and it's a sloppy pass. Astley looks to stab a kick through, but it takes a bit of an odd bounce, almost straight into the hands of Forber, and what an opportunity this could be. Richard Lepori making some real progress for Workington on his debut. And the momentum now swings to the home side. Home fans looking for a penalty from the ref, nothing coming. Forber just drops it off to Jack Stevenson, who fires it into the Oldham line. Now Scully looks to bring it up over halfway, and again, nearly making progress. It was JJ Key on that occasion, almost finding his way through the line. They keep it out the back, and there's some space. The kick's gone over the top. It was Gallier who made the break, but he just put a bit too much juice on the kick. Workington play with a bit of adventure still.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot of flow, and it started from that new signing in Richard Lepori, and I've seen him play quite a lot of times for Swinton. He does get his team on the front foot. It was a poor kick. Lepori got him on the front foot, and then, you know, very easy. I thought that this Workington team just marched this Oldham side back. some good inventive play, but again, just the end of the set, it's gone dead, and it just gives Oldham that extra tackle again. And you know, it's something, if they can just get the end of the sets well, they can kick the ball a little bit better, and I'm sure they can get some points on the board.
Plenty of reason for encouragement, though, from a Workington perspective. Looking to end that streak of defeats. Couldn't be a tougher opposition to do it against, but I think they'll be pretty pleased with their opening 15 minutes as Wildy sprays it out to the right-hand side to Moran. Load of Toga guys into the line. Oldham making reasonable meters. And now they look to examine this Workington defence on the left. Danny Craven with a little show and go, almost finds some joy, but stopped on the 30-metre line. Wildy comes over to the short side. Load of Toga guy jinking through. Looked to get the offload away. Wasn't on. Decided to keep it in hand. So this is the last. And they'll come out to Craven. He'll put not the highest of cross kicks, but a rangy one in, if you know what I mean. But it's been knocked on from an Oldham perspective. And again, Workington survived.
Yeah, it was another good set there. I think they're just a little bit loose around that ruck now, this Oldham side. The ball's been in play for most of the game. It's a hot day. They've had a couple of 7-tackle sets to defend again, and you know, on that occasion again the scramble was really good, but we're just seeing this Workington side just being a little bit loose, and Oldham just unable to poke the noses through and just get some great field position.
Yeah, it's been a quick start to the game. Workington, as you say, probably just conscious that they might need to manage that a little bit and not let the pace of the game get too high. Very much in the mix at the moment. 15 minutes played, live and exclusive here on the Sportsman. Fantastic to have you with us. Lovely afternoon in the Cumbrian sunshine. As we continue our coverage of Betfred League One, and that's the third time we've seen that kick from dummy half. Connor Saunders. And again, Phoenix Loda-Toga guy deals with it well.
I think the key with Saunders' kick, that play of the ball prior to that kick's got to be quick. You've got to get this Oldham team backtracking and the back three out of position, because it's far too easy for the back three to collect Saunders' kick.
So Moran plays the ball, Wildy at dummy half, gives it to Farnworth, who then drops it off to Astley. That ball's come loose in the tackle, but it's gone backwards. Oh no, it hasn't. The referee's going to call it back for a knock-on. And another little victory in this game for Workington.
Shown a lot of character, aren't they? You know, they've had a lot of defending to do over the last 10 minutes. This Oldham side just pushing in numbers and a lot change of direction with Astley on that right-hand side. But Workington, defensively again, excellent set from them.
Yeah, they've started the game really well, in defence especially. And the error count, the penalty count, stacked pretty heavily against Oldham at this stage of the game, which is not something that we always say about them, as we just look at the error again. That's led to this scrum, and this actually feels like the first time in the opening 17 minutes that we've had a bit of a breather, a little bit of a break.
It is, yeah. Imagine what it's like, you know, on that field now, certainly with this heat. And I think we've got to give a lot of credit to the starting middles from this Workington side, because you know, there's a lot of footwork, there's a lot of pace within this Oldham side, and you know, they're obviously really well drilled with Sean Long. But people like, you know, Scully and JJ Key just started the game really, really well under immense pressure from these Oldham middles.
Yeah, the interchange benches will be interesting this afternoon. I think it will be a key factor of this game. If you look at Oldham especially, Joe Wardle, Ted Chappellhow, Craig Kopchak, there's a lot of experience rolling off that interchange bench. Yeah,
and then on the flip side again, you've got the Workington side with, you know, Brad Brennan, who's an outstanding player but not played much rugby, you know, looking to make a big impact in there. Grant Reid and, you know, a few of the other players. Experience-wise, Oldham certainly got it. So I think you're right, Lewis. I think certainly this 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark, when the benches start coming off, can be a deciding factor going forward in this game.
So we look set to get back underway. We've just had a shirt change, I think, for a bit of blood, but we are underway again, and that's Chris Taylor. It takes a few attempts for Oldham to get hold of him. Still going. Actually, the referee calls held, and he'll play the ball on the 40-metre line. And he's proven to be a real handful on that right-hand side as JJ Key fires in again. big, tall, physical, loose forward. And now an error from Workington, their first real one of the game, and I think it's going to be costly because Ben O'Keefe could be a way to score in the corner, and he does. And for all of that endeavour and industry from Workington, a sloppy mistake. And Ben O'Keefe races away for the first 4 points of the game.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think they've tried this short side play a couple of times with Kyle Forber and Kieran Walker. But on that occasion, it was good defence there from Oldham. They just held the line, they got the numbers right. And Ben O'Keefe, who's got blistering pace. You know, I think it was Kieran Walker that tried to get back to him, but it was a real promising set. They got a good go forward to this Workington side. And if you look at Forber now, a little bit of a mix-up hitting the lead runner. Then Ben O'Keefe, right arm carry, showed some pace.
Yeah, he's always going to take that opportunity, wasn't he, Ben O'Keefe? One of the real weapons in this Oldham back line. Plenty of pace to burn, and he certainly burnt it there. Not the easiest finish, because as you say, the covering defence did come across, but step inside, manages to shrug the tackle off and go over for our first try of the afternoon. And maybe that's just what Oldham needed to settle them into this game a bit. I
think so. I think probably discipline-wise they've struggled a little bit, allowing this Workington side to get out the half, but defensively they've been really strong, and probably a well-deserved lead. It's
Logan Astley on kicking duty for Oldham this afternoon, and that looks pretty good. He's hit the crossbar, really unlucky. The line was absolutely spot on. He probably just needed one or two more rotations of the ball in the air. Clatters off the crossbar, so the opening try of the game will stay as a 4-point lead.
You should get some points for doing that, shouldn't you?
Well, I'd like to see him do it again.
I think it's been a really promising start from Workington, in every facet of the game. You mentioned right at the beginning they've got to start well, and they've done that. But one thing you can't do is just these unforced errors, and all credit to this Oldham side.
It's Farnworth for the carry off the back fence. Oldham definitely taking this seriously. They travelled up early this morning. Had some time in a hotel just to recover from the travel and stretch their legs a bit before making their way down to the ground. So Sean Long and his staff leaving no stone unturned as they continue their quest for promotion back to the Betfred Championship. Workington proving stubborn opposition so far. As we come out to the left-hand side of Moran, dropping it off to Owen Farnworth, who brings it over the 40. This is the last, so not too much of an attacking platform, you'd think, from this kick, but an opportunity to put Workington in the corner and try and keep them there. And it's a really good kick chase from Kia Tyra, and that is exactly what they've done. Workington deep inside their own half. Having to put some hard carries in yardage to get some of the territory back. It's a good take from Richard Lepori. Under pressure. And Workington doing well, actually. Getting themselves out of their own real estate. Grant Reid onto the field with that carry, and now they spread it out to the left. They don't seem afraid, do they, of playing, to the edges.
No, and I think they've got
their own half.
Yeah, they've got to do that, I think. They can't just take this ball one up and carries, single carries. They've got to test this Oldham defence, both left, right and middle.
So the kick comes in from Forber, just looking to split that back two, and he does. Tyra having to go all the way back pretty much to his own try line to get that in cleanly, and he'll return it up to the 20 metres. But Oldham very much looking like they're starting to get a sense of control of this game after the first try of the afternoon. And they're straight up over the halfway line through George Hurst. Well, Danny Craven asking for a penalty, getting nothing from the referee, just says get on with it. So Oldham do through Moran, still going up to the 40-metre line. Wildy will play it pretty central to Farnworth, who gets the legs pumping, was looking for a hole, but he's lost it. Another error from Oldham. Another missed opportunity. 22 minutes into this game, there's a few times now where we've just seen that ball go loose unnecessarily, realistic.
Yeah, I think he might have ripped that ball out there, but they'll be disappointed with that, Oldham, because they are starting just to turn the cog a little bit. They're looking fast, they're looking quick. Craven and Astley's linking up. The interesting thing with the way Sean Long's got this side set up is, they're certainly working some of these big men on the small men. They'll work both half-backs left and right side, and on that occasion they've gone again for Connor Saunders. But it's a great defensive set again, and they're showing some great character as this Workington side.
Well, it'll be interesting to know what the message was from Anthony Murray before the game, but at this stage, you have to say, if this side are in the fight, come half-time, who knows what might happen as Grant Reid carries strongly for Workington, and now they come out of the back as they look to come wide, and the offload was a bit of a sloppy one, but it's come back down off an Oldham hand, so just going to see which way the referee settles this one, but I think this could be coming back on Workington's side. It is, so a bit of a Brucey bonus for them then, because they were running out of space on their right-hand side. There wasn't a huge amount on. Chris Taylor tried the speculative offload, and in a strange way, it's worked for them.
Yeah, it was a good call, wasn't it, by the linesman as well. That Taylor, just that little right-arm flick, and I just thought it was going to be a carbon copy of the previous try that Ben O'Keefe got with Tyra going the 50 metres, but great position here for Workington.
This is Aaron Gallier looking to burst through the line, but he's brought down 28 metres or so away. Options left and right, a bit of a messy play the ball, and the referee has given the error. So Workington unable to make that bonus count, and Oldham will have the ball back midway inside their own half.
Yeah, it's Scully who's carrying this ball. He's had an outstanding first 25 minutes, and they get the numbers on. They're leaning on a little bit, but he's got to do better. He's got to get his hand around that ball. I know it's easy watching, but they'll be disappointed with that. He's been a fantastic start to this game as Scully, but he'll be disappointed with that carry.
Yeah, under all sorts of pressure. They're unable to keep hold of the ball, so Oldham back in possession. Chappell out, makes the carry and then plays quickly, and Wildy has his team on the front foot straight away, finding Pat Moran, who's brought down inside Workington territory, and again they come out to the right hand side. Logan Astley maybe just caught in a little bit two minds about what to do there. Keeps it in hand. It's a slower play of the ball for an opportunity for Workington to just regroup in defence. And again, decent control in the tackle from the home side. So this is the last. They'll come out to Craven on the left. He'll put a real hanger up, but it'll go clean dead on the full. And a disappointing end to that set from an Oldham perspective.
Yeah, the one thing that Craven does, he kicks the ball really well, and obviously targeted Lapore on Workington's right-hand side. You've got to credit as well, Tyra for that kick chase, but disappointed end to the set. He generally does a lot better than that, but just rewards for the defensive effort from this Workington team.
Well, the wind turbines to our right-hand side will tell you that there is a bit of breeze around. The flags are certainly waving, so maybe not the easiest conditions for kickers and kick receivers alike. Danny Craven, with all of his experience, would have expected to do better with that one as Workington look to move themselves over the halfway line. They do so. Kieran Walker keeping the ball in hand. Now he plays it, and Tyler Walton onto the field. Carries up. Slightly slower play the ball. The kick comes in from Walker. Togai under some pressure, and referee not happy with how he was met there. He was on his way down, but I think there probably was a bit of high contact in there. We take a look at it again. It's a good kick chase from a Workington perspective, but yeah, it's just one of those, isn't he? He kind of slips, he's on his way down. Cops a high one. As we all know, Tommy Briley. On the wrong end of it on this occasion, but that is a penalty under the current rules.
Yeah, it was a good set as well from Workington. Just like to see, and that happened on that occasion, both half-backs from Workington, you know, they've gone out the back, they've hit the lead runner, you know, just to show and go a little bit and just test and make this Oldham defence stay honest. But it was a good end to the set, but a really disappointing penalty. And again, they're not having to work really hard to get out their own half, Oldham, and this could come back to bite this Workington side.
They are over halfway with Lola Toga guy, but he can't keep hold of the ball. Just getting a little bit scrappy as we approach the half-hour mark. Both teams making errors that you wouldn't expect them to. Maybe that little bit of disjointedness is just what's stopping from Oldham finding a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah, and I think you've got to give Workington credit for that as well. The one thing they're doing is they're getting numbers in the tackle. You know, they're working, they keep moving their feet. You know, on this this Oldham offensive side is just the passing the ball. The front rows are passing the ball. The 13's passing the ball. Both halfbacks are turning players back inside, but the Workington players are turning up for each other, which is great to see. And you know, they would want it to be a messy game like this. You know, they don't want it to be a fast-flowing game. You know, it's certainly going into Workington's hands so far.
So the scrum on the Workington 40-metre line. Forber brings it out to the right to Chris Taylor. Met by 3 Oldham defenders, still working to bring him down. Finally they do. So it's a slower play, and Oldham are set in defence as Jack Stevenson makes the carry. Now we come out to the left-hand side, and Workington really carrying up to the line, engaging those Oldham defenders and making some decent progress on that left-hand side. And it's a quick play, and they'll look to stretch it to the other edge. Tyler Walton brought down. A good set already, this from a Workington perspective. They'll be interested to see if they can make anything work from the end of it. The kick stabs through, and Lola Toga guy takes the low-risk option and just bunts it out of play. Workington will get a repeat set.
Yeah, I think they're getting some real rewards now. Walker's getting his hands on the ball a lot more. I think predominantly it's Forber who's the main pivot within this side, but Walker's saying, give me the ball, you know, I'll kick, I'll show and go. On that occasion, it's just allowed this Workington side to get a repeat set and a real challenge now for this Oldham defence.
Brad Brennan onto the field for Workington as well. Plenty of experience at this level with North Wales and Rochdale. One that I know Anthony Murray was very pleased to get over the line this week. He said he only has 14 players available at the beginning of the week, so to get a team out that's competing like this with Oldham is impressive, but it's Oldham who've come up on the ball, with the ball, a little bit scrappy from Workington, a little bit of indecision, and Matty Wiley snaps it up and then gets a penalty for his troubles. So a really encouraging position for the home side turns into another opportunity for Oldham to just relieve some pressure, as we see Wildy getting the ball loose and then jumping on the scraps.
It's a big play from Wildy, that. You know, certainly on this repeat set as well. You know, they've not had to defend any sets on their own line. On that occasion, Wildy's just gone, broke the line, saw it was a poor pass, and all the experience he's got, all the games he's played, you know, he knows that if it's a poor pass, he can put pressure on that ball carrier, and that's what he's done.
Craig Kolchak onto the field. Loads of Super League experience, of course, with Salford and Wakefield, time at Bradford, Featherstone recently, and now Oldham. Moran brings it up over halfway. He's been really busy in the opening 31 minutes of this game. Loads of carries, loads of efforts up the middle. Wildly on his bike again, letting together on the front foot, and gone forward off a Workington hand. Tommy Briley just knocking that out of the air. So Oldham will get a clean slate to start with from the Workington 40-metre line. Moran again drops it off to Kopchak. He's brought down 32 metres away from the Workington line. Shouts for a forward pass from the locals, nothing given. Really strong crowd below us, underneath our commentary position here. There's a bit of a bounce pass the Toga guy, but he could make it work, looking to dart through and then just being dragged towards the sideline. Have to be careful there, they didn't take that a little bit too far and give away a penalty, but referee happy. Wildy will look to spit it out wide to George Hurst. He's brought down on the 10-metre line, still tackles in hand for Oldham. And it's Moran looking to just crash his way over, stopped inches short. This is the last. Craven, show, go, keeps it in hand. And the Workington defence is there, and that'll be a turnover. Oldham won't mind where they've turned that ball over, but equally Workington will be very pleased with their defensive effort.
No, I think Oldham, I think it's an impressive set there. The one thing they are, that they're really patient. You know, Craven's took the ball a couple of times right to that line. They'll be disappointed probably with the end to that set. You know, you either score or you can dab the ball over that line and get a repeat set. But as you mentioned, I think Workington defensively, that was an outstanding set.
And an opportunity for Oldham to maybe just try and turn the screw a little bit here in defence, restrict the metres, or maybe even force an error. As Brad Brennan carries up the middle and makes some decent metres for it. And actually, I think Workington will already be pretty pleased with how they've got themselves off their own line. And again, the kick from dummy half. Henton unable to just turn them around on that occasion. Probably not the best option, with tackle still in hand, as Toga guy is brought down just above his own 40, and now Key and Tyra up over halfway. And they favour this left edge again, and they could have some joy as Hurst goes through. He's got O'Keefe in support, he keeps it in hand himself. And I think he's bombed a clear opportunity there. If he'd have just given the pass, O'Keefe was in the corner. Oldham still have it. This is Wildy. Astley manages to get himself free, and it's gone down off the hand of Tommy Briley again. But I think Sean Long will have something to say to George Hurst when they get back in the sheds there.
Yeah, I think they've bombed 2 or 3 opportunities here. I think, you know, certainly it was a 2-on-1 with a full back, and it's a nailed-on try. You know, I'm just thinking they've knocked the ball down a couple of times. You know, could you catch that? It might be being a little bit harsh on that, but it is a repeat set. They did it in the previous set there, where they just a lazy arm, but on the flip side,
here's the
good
break.
shot of this short side play.
It's George Hurst with the one-handed carry, gets through brilliantly, and if he gives that ball to Ben O'Keefe, they're not catching him. He's in the corner for his second of the game, and it's a different-looking scoreboard. As it stands, it is a repeat set, so still an opportunity for Oldham to stretch the lead out before half-time, and Danny Craven's going to do just that. Steps inside, says, I'll do it myself. Touches down for Oldham's second try of the game, and Workington will be disappointed with that because they've done a lot of defensive work there to keep them out, and in the end, pretty easy for Danny Craven to waltz over there.
Yeah, they were creaking a little bit, weren't they, this Workington defence, and I think Craven's just come into the game. You know, he's just obviously been the main kicker, but he started to show and go a little bit more, waiting for this tired defence, but a little show and go, little change of pace as well, right arm fend, and just using all his experience. A great pass as well from that scrum.
Yeah, Jack Stevenson, he was trying to get across with the inside push, but just couldn't reel Craven in. Just feel like that might settle a few nerves from an Oldham perspective as we approach half-time. Kick to come, of course, from Logan Astley. Hit the crossbar with his first attempt. This one is far simpler, you would think. Oh, but he's pushed it to the left. Commentators curse. And Oldham's lead stays at 8 points to 0 on the 36-minute mark.
Yeah, again, you just see this dummy half pass well from Wildy going in that 13 position. And then it's they'll be disappointed with that. You know, Jack Stevenson, you know, was just stood one out, and then Craven spotted that. He's just turned his hips, and he's just that little show and go, change of pace, right arm fend, and a great try from Craven.
So 3 minutes or so left. Of course, remind you that clock is not the official timekeeper's clock. It is just a guide, but Won't be far wrong. Not been a huge amount of stoppages in this game. Will Oldham be fancying one more score before the break, just to stretch this lead out further? Chappell out. Carries up towards the 30-metre line and over it. Met by Brad Brennan. And then Moran. Another strong carry from him and finds his front as well. Getting his team on the front foot. Kopchak. The next cab off the rank from an Oldham perspective. He's brought down just short of the Workington 40-metre line. This is the last, so Oldham looking for a good kick here from Craven, and it's a tall one, hanging right up in the sun as well. It's taken in well by Zaringalia at fullback. Workington will start this set on their own 10-metre line.
They're looking good, Oldham. They're looking good this last 15-20 minutes. Kopchak's come on. A few of the other bench rotation, but they're really patient. I think the message probably from Sean Long is be nice and patient, and then the back end of this game, last 15-20 minutes of the second half, then they'll get some rewards from all this hard work.
Now, Workington again, we've seen them do this a few times, just trying to stretch the game out to that left edge. Ethan Bickerdike plays the ball on the 30-metre line, and Tyler Walton follows up with a good carry. This is the last, so again they'll look to kick long and see if they can turn Lodotogo around, but it's a pretty routine take for the young fullback. Oldham with maybe one more set in this half to see if they can put a bit more pressure on the Workington line, but in their own territory at the moment. 3 men in the tackle. Brennan, Forber, Taylor in there as well as Chappell out, gets the legs pumping over halfway. A real strong carry. And he'll play the ball pretty much on the 40-metre line. Wildy with a flat ball to Kopchak, who was met well by the Workington defence, didn't really have anywhere to go. And they're keeping control of the tackle and forcing back, so it's a slow play the ball. Craven. Little chip kick over the top. The bout to be interesting. It just kicks on into touch. But again, as we've seen pretty much every Workington set for the last 10 minutes or so, they're starting right on their own line. And in fact, they won't be starting it at all, because there is the half-time hooter. Oldham lead 8 points to 0 at the break, but it has not been plain sailing for the league leaders. Workington very much in the fight, Steve McCormack.
Yeah, I've been impressed by both sides in their own way. I think this Workington side, Anthony Murray called on his team to put an awful lot of effort in there, and they've done that. Oldham, I think, has been the best side, and obviously the scoreboard reflects that, and they've also bombed 2 or 3 chances. And this Oldham side just showed their quality in attack. I think they've been really patient.
Yeah, Sean Long, I'm sure he's got a few pointers for his team. He won't be too worried at the break. Here's the opening try of the game. It was Workington on the front foot, and just a sloppy pass. Ben O'Keefe snapping it up and racing away to give Oldham first points of the game. Not a man you want to drop the ball in front of with clear real estate in front of him, just a step back inside. And there was a bit of a settling moment, wasn't it, for Oldham?
Yeah, it was, and this is really smart. If you look at Craven will get all the credit, and rightly so, but if you look at who's at the 13 position from the scrum, it's a really subtle coaching ploy. But Wildy, who arguably is the best passer from dummy half, is at 13, so it's a real crisp, fast pass to Craven, and Craven did the rest. But Craven had just threatened this Workington defence previously about showing and going, kicking, passing, going long, going short, and that occasion he did it himself. Little left foot step, right hand fend, well deserved try.
So there's a tail of the tape for the first 40 minutes here in Workington. Tries from O'Keefe and Craven, giving Oldham a narrow 8-0 lead at the break. Workington Town still very much in this game against the league leaders. I'm sure Anthony Murray will be pleased with his team's work when he gets them back in the sheds. But it is Oldham who lead. 40 minutes left here in this Betfred League One clash. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the safe ball and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through.
You're watching the Sportsman Rugby League. Subscribe for weekly shows, exclusive content and live games.
It's a Betfred Challenge Cup semi-final.
There is just one place left at Wembley.
Tiptoes down the touchline. What a beautiful try from St Helens. Has Renew got the legs? Will she outkick Tara Jones? Yes, she will.
He sprints at the line, Field with the dummy! What a try that is! Sheffield!
And Fair Gaskin gets the drop goal. But it's St Helens who are the first team through to the Challenge Cup final.
Schneider waits for the chance! Schneider sends it on its way!
And it's the cup holders, St Helens against York Valkyrie.
Going sideways to Nagama wrestles his way through and Kevin Nagama took full advantage. He's got Dusty, Hewlis doesn't need the support, he's gone all the way himself. It's a Betfred Challenge Cup semi-final and that's a richly deserved try. Incredible!
Here's Hardcastle now, looks for the step, there's half the gap there, she can exploit it if anybody can, she can! Thompson, can she get away through? She can't, but she can offload to Salihi, and Wigan hit back!
Knockout Rugby League, it's what we love.
Will it be Leeds Rhinos? Will it be Wigan Warriors?
You're watching the Sportsman Rugby League. Subscribe for weekly shows, exclusive content and live games.
That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get there and touch down. He's gone for the safe ball and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through. Welcome back to the Fibre Stadium here in Workington, half-time in this Betfred League One clash. Those Oldham fans so far reasonably happy with what they've seen from their side. 8-0 lead at the break for the league leaders against the stubborn Workington outfit. And we're just saying in the break, Steve, that it's been a really interesting game of rugby league, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's been a good game. We didn't really know what to expect. We knew what we was going to get from Oldham. Workington's been really unpredictable. But speaking to Anthony Murray before the game, he wanted effort, he wanted endeavour, and I think he's got both. So an 8-0 scoreline probably doesn't really reflect the amount of possession that Oldham's had, but it certainly reflects the hard work that Workington's been doing. Anthony Murray speaking before the game about how pleased he was to get a couple of signings over the line this week. Actually, they've both made a real difference, haven't they? Brett Brannan, Richard Lepori have both had a real good impact. Lepori off that edge and Brannan coming off the bench. Yeah, and Lepori's been under massive pressure as well from this Oldham side. And I don't think that will change as well. Craven's just been putting that ball up, and Keane Tyra and Ben O'Keefe has had a real pressured kick chase on them. And with the ball, Lepori's certainly been finding his front. And you mentioned Brad Brennan. The last 10 minutes of that first half he came on, made a real impact. The crucial fact is how long they'll keep him on for. Obviously, with the fact that he's not played many minutes over the last few weeks. Oldham coming back out onto the field, into the sunshine, towards this really vocal band of travelling Oldham fans that are below us. Real feel-good factor about that club now, with the investment that's come in and the signings, the move back to Boundary Park, of course. Promotion from Betfred League One, the next box for them to tick as they continue their journey. Such a famous old rugby league club, of course, Steve. It'd be great to see them back in the higher echelons of the game. Yeah, brilliant club, brilliant community. If you look at the amount of players that they've produced for other Super League teams, and you look at the amateur setup, the community club, just a hotbed of rugby league. And it's fantastic to see as well, the Boundary Park and Mike Ford and obviously Longy's doing really, really well, and the backers. But as you mentioned, the fans are now getting behind them, and the one thing they've done now is they've knocked all the walls down with regards to the community. I'm not saying they've always had those walls up, but the community now is really getting behind them, and hopefully big things will happen with that club. Workington just making them wait, making the most of the shade whilst they still can in the sheds. Hold them out and ready to go. And I wonder what that team talk would have been like from Sean Long, because I'm sure he won't be panicking in there. After all, his team are 8-0 up, but he'll be wanting to see a bit more, won't he? Yeah, take your chances. That's what he'll be saying. I think they've kicked the ball well, they've passed the ball well, they've supported well, but they've had 3 absolutely nailed-on chances that they've not taken, and that's 18 points and potentially 18 points. And that's kept Workington in this game, and you can't do that. If Workington can score first, then we've got game on. But I think he'll be relatively pleased. I think the completion rates were pretty high. I think the kicking game was pretty good. But it's important the way that they start this first 10 minutes of this second half. They've been kept really honest by Workington and their effort in defence especially. It'll be interesting to see what toll that takes as we get into the midsection onwards of this second half. They've done a lot of defending, Workington. Part-time athletes, of course. You do feel in these conditions fitness might become a factor. 100%. I think that, and it's not only the amount of sets you've had to defend, it's where you've defended as well. And you mentioned the bench early on in this game, the experience that this Oldham team's got on the bench, and they've used a couple of those, and they've made a big impact in players like Kopchak. But one thing that this Workington side won't lack is the spirit, the endeavour, and they're working exceptionally hard for each other. They've got to get the kicking game right. I think 2 or 3 occasions they've had 7 tackle sets, Oldham, and that's something you can't do against this side. So Workington back out onto the field. Huge encouragement they'll take from their work in the first 40 minutes. And you talk about Oldham taking their chances. There was a few occasions that Workington were in good positions at the other end of the field and just couldn't make it stick. So I imagine it would have been a similar message from Anthony Murray. You're in the game, take the chances when they come. Definitely, and just be a little bit more patient. I think we saw a couple of kicks went dead, and Wildy stopped a Workington tackle 1 when it was a double repeat set. So if they can get that part of the game right, then I'm sure there's points in there for them. So back underway, Kopchak with the first carry, and then Keane Tyra following it up, and a penalty straight away. That'll be exactly what
Anthony Murray didn't want his side to do at the very beginning of this second half. Danny Craven will put the ball upfield and make decent progress with it as well. Some good meters made there. Wind blowing heavily in his favour.
It's that late footwork from Kean Tyra again, just getting right to the line with these big fellas and getting a penalty.
So Kopchak brings it up to the 30-metre mark. Straight away an opportunity for Oldham in this second half as Moran, he's not been off the field yet. He's been really busy in the middle. Strong carries. Wildy brings us out to the left to Craven. Craven brings it up to the line and gives it to Lola Togagai, fullback, who keeps it moving out to the left to George Hurst. He's stopped about 6 metres away. So Workington camped on their own goal line. Craven to Wildy. And that's Ted Chapelhow on from the bench. Just keep it reasonably tight. Kopchak trying to muscle his way through, but stopped. This is the last. Wildy, oh, it's intercepted. And an opportunity here for Workington to break away. The Oldham defence is there in coverage, but it's a good line clearer. And another opportunity gone begging for Oldham. Workington fans not happy with some of the afters in that tackle, but the referee not interested. I think he's doing a good job of just letting this game flow and run. Nicholas Bennett in the middle. Here's Brennan. Talking about taking the chances and what Sean Long want from his team, and that's another opportunity on the Workington line bombed, and now Town look to spread it out wide. Briley stopped just short of the 40. This is the last. Gallia at acting half gives it to Walker, who finds a little bit of space, but he's got to do something with it on last tackle. He puts a really high kick up. It's going to bounce in no man's land, and it could come back on the Workington side here. In the end, Togagai mops it up. I'm just going to see what the referee gives here. He's going to give the turnover. It was all a bit messy. As we see it bounce, just falls Lola Togagai, and then it's Walker and Tyra contesting for it, and Walker just unable to bring it in clearly. But Oldham starting this set 10 metres off their own line, and Workington to be very happy to be at this end of the field. Yeah,
and it was chaos again. You know, what we mentioned earlier in that first half is you can't just go toe-to-toe with the Oldham side. You know, you've got to do something a little bit different. And, you know, Kieran Walker's just done exactly that. Kicked it. It was a bit of no man's land, but they nearly got the rewards from that.
So Oldham on the front foot again. Roebuck plays the ball on the 40, and now they'll kick themselves from dummy half. That's taken a big deflection off the referee. And we're going to come back, I think. It's going to be an Oldham play the ball. So a bit of fortune really there from Oldham. Stabbed through from Craven, took the deflection off the referee. And it's going to come back as Oldham ball. Comes back on the last, so Craven puts the huge kick up. Taken well by Zaran Gallia, the fullback.
I think they were pretty fortunate the referee was in the way there as well. It was a good little instinctive kick there from Graven as well. A little bit different to what he's done in the first half. He's normally gone to the hurdle for his side, but he went low. And the referee was just in the position that they didn't want him to be in.
So Workington up to the 40-metre line. Taylor will play the ball. Now they come right. Grant Reid picked that one up off his ankles, but not well enough for the referee's liking. So we're going to come back for an Oldham scrum.
Yeah, that's disappointing, isn't it? Little tip on there from Walton, and it was Reid just in his little two play as well, and it's just that lack of skill or lack of quality in that.
thought he'd done enough there,
Yeah,
to
I
just
agree.
bring that back in, but the referee saw it differently, so it is an Oldham scrum just inside their own half. And a bit of old-fashioned hooking going on in the scrum there, less a scene these days, but Oldham do get the ball, and Roebuck is brought down inside Workington territory. Johnson to Astley, Wardle onto the field, back in the side. Plays the ball, Wildy. Moran just keeps it in hand, up to the 30-metre mark. Dead centre, so options both sides of the ruck. They come to the left. That's George Hurst cutting back on the inside. He makes some decent progress. So another opportunity for Oldham to put some pressure on this Workington try line. Astley brings it up to the line, finds Toga Guy, who was looking for Jack Johnson with a long kind of Sydney Harbour Bridge style pass, but was never really on, and the execution not there either. Workington survived again.
Yeah, and got to credit Workington again. You know, it was just they favoured that side, haven't they? That right to left side shift. You know, they've set the set-up play on a left-hand post, which they've had a couple of the middles, the front row and the 13, just using that little link pass to the half-backs. And similar to the first half, just Workington held the line, was strong. It was that blue and white wall, and Oldham came up with that error. Great defence from Workington.
Workington still didn't have to do it. Still having to do it tough, of course. Bring it out from under the shadow of their own posts. Really good line speed from Oldham. An opportunity for them to just apply a little bit of squeeze in defence here and restrict the metres. Brad Brennan just sticks it up the jump up. Strong carry. Exactly what his side needed to get themselves out of a little bit of trouble. After a bit of a few negative carries, and then the error comes in. And that is exactly what Oldham were looking to do. Put the line speed on, put the squeeze on, force the error, and earn themselves another crack at the Workington try line.
Well, that's two sets on the bounce. You know, we looked at in the middle, little tip-ons, a little two-play in the previous set. On that occasion, they'd done exactly the same thing, hitting that lead runner. And they're going to be disappointed in that. You know, I think Walker's been real good in this game, but, you know, he's probably just got to carry that, play the ball quick and try and get his side on the front foot. But it's just gifted this Oldham team field position. That's something you can't afford to do.
So Oldham with the scrum at 28 metres out, dead central of course. So O'Keefe carries it into the line up over the 20. All the shape and numbers stacked out to the right, and that's the way that they come to Craven. Wildy in the halves, he drops it off to Ted Chapelhout. Met well by the Workington defence, who just about stay in control of the tackle, and Oldham come to the short side. Nathan Roebuck wrapped up. Brennan again in the tackle. Oldham spread it out wide with Wildy. He gives it to Craven. Craven just keeps it in hand and then drops it off to Loda Toga Guy on the inside. And that's a tackle reset deep in the count as well. So a real coach killer from a Workington perspective. Kopchak hits a tackle, looks to spin out of it. Bailey Aldridge onto the field for Oldham. He's at dummy half, brings us out to the left. Danny Craven looking to step through and went behind one of his own players, so just surrenders. They come out to the right. Set play with the shape set up, numbers out the back, but it doesn't quite work for them. Logan Astley comes back in. Looks to Toga Guy, shouts of a forward pass from the home fans, nothing given. Little move out the back, Wardle looking to burst through, met really well by the Workington defenders. Still tackles in hand for Oldham, it's a slow play, the ball. Aldridge out to Astley, Astley just stabs a kick through, and Toga Guy could be through here, can't quite bring it in cleanly. And we're going to go for a 20-metre tap. And whatever happens in the rest of this game, or whatever the result is at the end of it, Steve, Anthony Murray, I'm sure, will mention the work and the effort of his team defending on their own goal line as a real positive.
Yeah, they've had to do that an awful lot, haven't they? The way this Oldham team's played with the ball, and, you know, within two carries here now, they're in the halfway line. So not only defensively, certainly showing up when they've got the ball as well.
Yeah, probably Workington's best yardage set of the game. Stevenson carries up over the halfway line. It's a bit more of a controlled tackle on that occasion from Oldham, so it is a slower to play the ball. Forber. And he gives it to Kieran Walker, who looks to dart his way through the line. They'll look to go one way and then the other. And this is Tongiaru adding some muscle to the line, and still they're on the way. The kick was stabbed through, but it was straight to the arms of Lodatoga guy, who makes some decent meters in return and then gets a penalty. And all that good work and endeavour from Workington just unravelled with a little bit of ill discipline, a sloppy end to the set. That's a real shame from a Workington perspective, Steve.
Yeah, they're just lacking that cutting edge at the back end of the set. You know, they made some easy yards. You know, they're dipping the noses through. They're causing this Oldham side awful lot of problems, but very similar to the first half. The last tackle set option on the set is really poor, and that's something that they've let themselves down with. Interesting as well, where you've got Aldridge.
That ball's come loose, but he's going to be ripped.
Aldridge is now at 9. You've got Wildy at 13 in place of Pat Moran. So they've got 3 or 4, maybe 5 pivots on the field now, this Oldham side. So I expect them to shift the ball, from right to left as often as they possibly can.
Well, there's the incident. Not a popular decision here, but it is back-to-back penalties for Oldham, and a golden opportunity for Sean Longside to put some points on the board and just stretch this lead out further. Wildy to Chapelhow. He brings it up just short of the 10-metre line. Aldridge at dummy half. That's Logan Astley to Craven. All the numbers and shape are stacked on the right again. And again, that's the way they come. Craven, Wildy. He's stopped 8 metres away. Aldridge looks to shapes to go one way, then goes the other, gives it to Wardle. He's stopped short. Again, this Workington Town goal line defence standing up strong. Oldham keep knocking on the door, though. Wildy brings us out to the left-hand side. Craven with the show and go. Keeps it in hand. Smothered by the Workington defence, and this is the last. So we'll see what Oldham can come up with here. It's going to be Wildy. It's a bit of a looping pass, so the defence is up on him quick. The kick is stabbed through, and in the end, it's dealt with. I think it was Lapori who jumped on it, or Zarangelia, sorry, the fullback for Workington, who did really well
what about
to mop that up.
Brad Brennan's kick pressure then as well? He's gone 15 metres off his own line and put pressure on it. And that's the little things that this Workington team's doing is just stopping Oldham from posting more points.
It was interesting earlier when Oldham arrived. Sean Long kind of walked over to the corner where we were stood and very clearly marked out the length of the in-goals with his feet. Did that kind of military-style march where he was kind of work out. They are quite big, the in-goals here, and we have seen a lot of those kind of grubber kick. Just as we see the incident that, Bickerdale, knees aren't supposed to bend in that direction. That'll be a sore one. He's in some bother down there. It's Bickerdike who's down for Workington and just got himself in the wrong position. And he's still writhing around in pain.
I'm just looking at Joe Wardle, who was also involved in that tackle as well. He's limping. He's come back from an injury as well, his first game back. Hopefully he's okay. And as always, the medical staff are the best in the business, our sport. The medical attention that the players get, and they were straight on, and hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, it's never normally good, is it, when you see a knee bend like that? I think we could be on for a bit of a lengthy break here. as Ethan Bickerdike gets some attention.
Oh, that's a good sign, isn't it? Him getting
up
up
on his feet. He's being helped off. I think it might be the last we see of him this afternoon, but good to see him back up on his feet. That had the potential to be a real nasty one for Ethan Bickerdike. We see it again. Just gets his knee caught underneath Joe Wardle. Completely innocuous, nothing in it, of course, from an Oldham perspective, but good to see Ethan back on his feet, limping over.
Could have a major impact on the game as well, this, you know, with the amount of subs, and obviously they've got a couple of players who's not played long minutes, Workington, and having to take a winger off. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like he's okay, which is the main thing. But this could disrupt Anthony Murray's, you know, subs, and certainly make some of these middles play a bit longer than he'd like him to. And
add to his already quite heavy injury list, that kick. I don't know if it took a little bit of a deflection on the way through, didn't have much distance on it. Craven fielding it inside the Workington half, so more opportunities to presenting themselves for Oldham to really put the pressure on. This is the part of the game that we spoke about, where all of that defensive effort and energy that Workington have had to put into this game may come to just show itself a little bit. They've had to do far more defending than Oldham have. And now Oldham look to make that pay as Astley brings it up to the line and gives it to Toga Guy, and Roebuck, with a pretty simple finish in the end, just slices through the line. And after knocking on the door for most of this second half, Oldham extend their lead out to 12 points to 0. Yeah, definitely the game plan, as we mentioned 5 or 10 minutes ago, with that left to right side shift, and Workington's defended it really, really well, but they've stuck to that. They've stuck to exactly that Sean Long has told them to do. Options, good quality pass from dummy half, pivots linking up well, Leeds running the right lines. You've got Wildy linking up in that 13 role, and then Logan Astley, a quick pass, and then I think Workington will be a little bit disappointed. One thing you can't do on your own goal line is just stand off. You've got to get up and disrupt this Oldham attack, but real quality play from this Oldham side. I've been really impressed by Phoenix Lola Toga Guy's contribution in this game. Really solid at fullback under the high ball, but injecting himself into the attack as well, dropping into the line. Really nice contributions. He's got the pass and the run option, hasn't he? You know, a lot of people talked about he's got a bright future ahead of him, and showing plenty of that potential this afternoon. Yeah, and you can see why, can't you? All the quality's showing, and you know, he's not frightened to try things as well. You know, and in this game, he's got caught a couple of times on that right edge by this Workington defence, but that was quality, and you know, I think just the pivots now are getting a little bit more time. Logan Astley unsuccessful with his first 2 attempts of the afternoon, looking to make it third time lucky. It's got a low trajectory on it, and it hasn't got the distance. So still, Oldham just keeping the door ajar a little bit for Workington, and if Workington could put something together and get one try, you'd think that maybe the nerves would just start to jangle around the Oldham camp a little bit. Well, it's still there, isn't it? You know, certainly with these goal kicks. You know, I think it was Kean Tyra that actually took that kick there, so I'm not sure why Astley's giving him that ball to kick. Maybe because he's missed a couple, you know, already. But Workington is still very much in this game, and it's going to be a real interesting 25 minutes. So Workington kick deep, and a little bit of a messy reception from Oldham, but they do mop it up eventually. They'll start this set from their own 10-metre line. Straight away on the front foot through Aldridge. Chapelhow poking his head through the line. Aldridge again brings it to the left-hand side. Tyra with those quick feet. Looking to find some space for himself, but mopped up well by the Workington defence. Chapelhow again. Ted Chapelhow now onto the field. Plays a brother Jay, and Barry Aldridge gets us up and running. Kopjak just hits a line back on the inside. This is the last, so Oldham probably the furthest back they've been kicking from in this half so far, but it's a really tall kick hanging up in what is quite a stiff breeze. Lapori does well, really well underneath it to bring it in. But again, look at that line speed. It's an obvious tactic, isn't it, from Oldham. Pin them in the corner and then fly off the line and get the rewards for it. Just about getting away with it on that occasion, Workington, and there might be some space opening up for them here. It's broken field. Togagai does well to get across and then dragged across, and the referee's got a decision to make here. I think he's given the penalty in favour of the home side. It was Jake Bradley who made the break and was then dragged towards the sideline.
Yeah, I think it's a big call. I think you look at Bradley and his footstep, and they just held him up. It's Kopchak in there, and they just held him up and dragged him out, and I think that's a little bit unfortunate. But
he didn't get the ball carrying arm down to the ground, did he? He looked to make the offload, so Oldham probably felt that they were well within the rights there to keep that tackle moving over to the sideline, but the referee felt differently. That's all that matters, of course. So Workington looking to make some progress down this left-hand side. Bradley again. Now they come out to the right. It's Walker. Forber. Huge carry from Tonga. Almost started that from inside his own half. Now they come to the right. Forber. Gallia comes in from fullback, but it's all a little bit disjointed, so not a huge amount of space for him to work with. They come left to Forber. He gives it to Brennan. Just charges forward. He stopped a few metres short. Still an opportunity. Forber stabs a kick through, looking to force a repeat set, which he does. And Workington's best moment of the second half, and we spoke about those missed kicks, not quite putting this game out of reach. There's some real confidence flowing around Workington now.
Yeah, and rightly so. Best set of the game there from Workington. The one thing they've got to do now is that very first time they've done this, they've come up with an error of tackle 1 and tackle 2 when they've had a repeat set. Another shot of this penalty as well. We thought it was a little bit harsh. Ball carrying arm didn't touch the ground, and they're pushing him, and I thought it was a knock on, but
that's a really good drop out.
Great kick.
Using the wind, of course. And carried back with interest by Briley up to halfway. Brennan. Pass was a little bit low, but he does bring it in on this occasion. Gets his team up over halfway. Forber comes out the back. Lapori looking to find some space. So they've got the full width of the pitch to work with here. It's a slower play of the ball, so they'll come out to Forber, who'll drop it back inside to JJ Key. Key dealt with well by the Oldham defence. Come out to Kieran Walker. Forber, just a little chip kick over the top, and the chase is coming in. It's just got a little bit too much juice on it, but not a bad place to put Oldham.
No, I think, yeah, it's not a bad place, but I think if he'd just put a little less toe on that, and then that just pins them right into that corner, and then, you know, they're a little bit loose at times, this Workington defence, but if this Oldham side's right in the corner, then they can condense that defensive line, and then it's a lot more difficult for Oldham to get out of their own half and getting some good ball area. So a really good set, really good period of the game for Workington, but I just feel as though, you know, a little bit less toe on that kick would have been a little bit better.
I have to say, I think this game's been a really good advert for Betfred League One, Steve. I think two teams having a real go at each other. Obviously, we knew coming into this season that Oldham were hotly tipped to win this league and get promoted, but Workington giving as good as they're getting.
Yeah, 100%. I think...
and there's the break, just as we talk about that defensive effort. They should score here. Astley's on the inside. He will race away under the sticks. And that might just be the moment that this game goes out of reach for Workington. It was Jack Johnson who made the break. Logan Astley on his inside, flying machine, does the rest, takes it under the sticks. And after a really encouraging spell for Workington, Oldham go the full distance. and stretch their lead out to 16 points to nil. Kick to come.
I think it probably reinforces what I said before. You know, you've got the Jack Johnson starting from a set play. You know, if he was in the corner, he won't do that. But disappointing. But what you want your wingers to do is get in against the big fellas, use footwork, use pace. He's done that. Explosive from dummy half. They had a couple of opportunities first half on that 2-on-1 situation. Logan Astley, as all good half-backs do, just supporting on the inside. And a really good try from this Oldham team.
So maybe a real key point in this game. 17 minutes or so left in it. Cyrus nails the conversion from straight in front, so sarcastic cheers. I'd say from the Workington fans, but I think there's probably some Oldham fans in there as well. And some real clear daylight between the two sides now.
Yeah, just another shot of that try as well, and you know, I can't say it enough. It is the really little subtle things in the game. You know, the game management. Craven's done that. The kicking game. You know, Pinlepori and that on that right edge, which allows that Oldham defence to get off that line. Workington's not quite done that, and the set restarts right from the middle, and it's a lot harder to defend. And Jack Johnson made a great break there, and Logan has to finish it off.
So back underway, and you just said now Oldham playing with their tails up a bit. They'll probably feel like they've done enough here in Cumbria to go home with the 2 points. But of course, interesting factor coming into this season and this battle between them and Keighley, points difference. They'll be looking to get everything they can. And a really nice ball back on the inside from Astley to Toga Guy, who's going to back himself and look to go all the way. The defensive coverage is really good from Zarangelia. But Oldham with a golden opportunity to put some more points on the board. Astley brings this out to Wildey. Wildey to Aldridge, looking to use the full width for the field, and could be in again here. O'Keefe just palms it off to Tyra. It takes a couple of attempts, but I don't think he was held. He's over in the corner. The try is given. Oldham go back to back. And it looks like they'll be taking those 2 points home with them, Steve.
Yeah, I think as we mentioned, probably the last 15 minutes of that first half where they had a lot of possession, we suggested that the last 15-20 minutes of this game that they could have a little bit of fun, throw the ball around, and little inside play. Logan Astley.
Really nice.
You know, Mr. Togadai, you know, absolutely superb there now. Didn't panic, played the ball really quickly, and then Wilder just linked up. And then an outstanding ball there from Craven, and just a very unorthodox. His Kean Tyree knew exactly what he was doing there. He didn't stay tall, he didn't stay on the sideline and get knocked over. Gets to the full-back, little duck. Oh, might have slipped. I might be giving him a big rap over nothing there, but he's been prolific all year, yeah.
Tyra from right on the touchline. That's a good looking effort though, just pushed wide. So it stays 22-0 in favour of Oldham. And Workington just with the look of a side now who have given everything in this game. Just maybe have their backs broken a little bit.
I think Aldridge has made a real good impact as well from Oldham. It's allowed Wilder to drop into that 13th position that Paddy Moran started the game on, and you know, Aldridge is very controlled from dummy half. But on that occasion again, he just set in that middle and just linked up for that score from Tyra.
So Oldham starting this set from pretty much their own 20-metre line. Johnson, who turn provider for that try a few moments ago. Now they come out to the left-hand side. Aldridge at dummy half. Now they come out. Wildey. It's a large Taylor hitting the line with intent, but met well by the Workington defence. Wildey now to Owen Farnworth. Farnworth just getting his nose through the line, but the support wasn't there for the offload, so he keeps it in hand. Craven puts another really tall kick up.
He's outside, play on.
Handled well by Gallia at fullback for Workington Town. And Oldham fans now in fine voice below us, cheering their team home to another win. Some journey they're on this season, but of course a really interesting title race developing between themselves and Keighley. Workington just doing it tough at the moment. Anthony Murray mentioned that bodies have been thin on the ground. They've had a really difficult season in terms of injuries. A lot of players in the medical room. They've given a really good account of themselves this afternoon, though. Stevenson plays the ball just inside his own half. Now they come out to Walker, who just runs at the line and then puts the kick in. It's going to be fall slightly in front of Togagai, but he deals with it well. Slips a little bit, but recovers and looking to get his team on the attack straight away, and he's done that. Tyra's got some space. He looks to keep the ball in hand himself. Plenty of tackles in hand, of course, a full set, so no reason to chance their arm too much. They get a quick play. Wildly, oh, there's an interception.
Yeah, it was offside, I think it was Forber.
It was Walker actually thought he was away, but been called back for the offside. He was virtually stood in the Oldham backline when he took that ball, so...
I think the initial break, I think it was Lepore from Workington, the right winger, struggling, limping. They've already had one winger taken off. And then they've gone down that side, and then... Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, it was Walker was miles offside then.
So Aldridge gets us back underway. Plays it to Matty Wildy. He drops it off to Jay Chapelhow, back onto the field. There's the break from Oldham. QRT just setting things up on that left-hand side. Really lively edge for them, that one, all day. Aldridge will just keep this in hand and look to burrow over himself. Can't quite force his way through. Plays the ball to Wildy, who gives it out to Craven. And they could be through again here. O'Keefe has his second of the game. Bit of juggling to bring it in, but gets it safely in hand, touches down, and Oldham are enjoying themselves in the last 10-15 minutes of this game.
Yeah, it's just blowing out a little bit as we feared it might do from a Workington point of view, but absolute quality from Oldham. You know, they've been patient there on that occasion. It was another good ball. All the pivots linking up as they've done. O'Keefe just holding his line and then exploding onto that ball on that left edge. They've started to turn it around a little bit, where they're going from a right side to a left side field position. And the last two tries they've scored, O'Keefe and Tyra, and all the pivots linking up really well. Real quality play from this Oldham team.
They've not made things easy for themselves with the kicking this afternoon. A lot of these conversions have been right out on the edges. This is another one in a difficult position for Tyra to try and knock over. Scoreboard will be looking even rosier if you'd added those 4 missed kicks to it. Again, the distance is good. This time he's absolutely spot on. Radar working perfectly for Tyra on that occasion. That's 2 more points to the tally. And Oldham starting to stretch this lead out to more towards a scoreline that I think a few people probably expected to.
Yeah, I think there was always a danger of that happening with the amount of possession they had, and you know, let's not forget the amount of tries that they bombed in that first half. You know, there was 3 or 4 that that normally they would take, and I just think this Workington team's just tired. You know, the front rows and the middles have had to stay in a little bit longer because of the injuries they've had. Lots of endeavour, lots of effort, but they're just running out of steam.
Draining conditions as well. Beautiful day here on the River Down. Fantastic place to come and watch rugby league, and we mentioned it at the top. Steve, you know this part of the world very well. Really passionate about this sport.
They are, and I don't think you can underestimate this performance from Oldham as well. You know, a lot's been mentioned about...
Well, they could be in again here, or it's just a little bit messy.
Yeah, a lot's been mentioned about, you know, your Keithlers and your Hunslets, and wait till Oldham play that. But to come up to Workington, come up to Cumbria, and to do this to this Workington side also takes some doing. And I've been really impressed with Oldham, impressed with the way Workington's, you know, the effort, but shown an awful lot of quality in a really well coached team. This Oldham side.
It's interesting, you know, you talk to Sean Long, and he's, you know, from the very start been kind of keen to stress that because of the investment and because of some of the names that they've signed, there's almost an expectation that they will steamroll every team in this division. But he said from day one that wasn't going to be the case, and he certainly seems very relaxed and calm, as he always does, about the progress they're making.
Yeah, he's experienced, hasn't he? And as a coach as well, you know, Sean's, you know, been to Featherstone, he's been an assistant at a few places as well, so he's been around the block, and he was a quality player himself, and he knows exactly what to expect from this division.
Tonga just carrying that up towards the 30-metre line. Workington looking to just bite back a little bit here after a difficult 10-minute spell for them. Stevenson brought down over on this near side. Gallia, the fullback, out to Walker. Walker gives it to JJ Key, who's carried with real enthusiasm all game. This is the last to come out left. Walker puts a high one up. Johnson pretty safe underneath it, and Oldham start this set 12 metres away from their own line.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect end to the set, you know, pinning them in them corners, making them work hard. You know, but all this Oldham side's just doing now, they're just wrapping. I think it's a knock-on from Oldham, so real good rewards, a good kick, good chase, good defensive set. And one thing that Oldham will want is to keep that nil scoreline. So even though they're comfortable now, they will not want this Workington side to score. And on the flip side, it's important that Workington, you know, get some points and start building towards the game next week.
Yeah, it's a real point of pride, isn't it, for teams and coaches, if you can come away from any game with a clean sheet. So a bit of defending to do here for Oldham. Workington haven't had too many opportunities to put the Oldham try line under pressure, but potentially one here as Chris Taylor carries in. Numbers all stacked out to the left. And of course that's the way that they come, so back into JJ Key. Come left again, and Grant Reid on that occasion stopped just short, looking to muscle his way over, but the Oldham defence is level to it. Here's Forbert. And it's going to be a penalty for offside, so more opportunity for Workington to get themselves on the scoreboard. A few sarcastic shouts to take the two from below us. It's JJ Key firing himself into that Oldham line again. They come right. There are numbers there if they can get to them, but Forbert keeps the ball in hand, then gets the offload away. Taylor shrugs off a couple of tackles, gets the offload, and it's a really good finish in the corner. It's Lepore who goes over on debut. And Workington have some reward for their endeavour.
Yeah, and I'm really pleased for them as well. I think they've deserved it. I think their effort, you know, and everything they've done so far in this game, they didn't want to be nilled. You don't want to be nilled anyway, but you don't want to be nilled at home. And it's that new signing in Richard Lepore. It was good play. Again, they was just nice and patient. And then they've been threatening to do that a couple of times. A good pass from dummy half. And then it was Forbes, a little right foot step, kept the ball alive. It was an excellent ball from Taylor. And then Lepore, as we know he can do that, just diving over on that right-hand side. Well-deserved try from this Workington team.
Yeah, Chris Taylor did really well, didn't he? To just bump off a couple of defenders and get the arm free for the offload. Lepore, excellent finish on that far side. So Workington give their fans something to smile about, plenty to smile about really across this performance. certainly not embarrassed themselves at all. Plenty of positives for Anthony Murray to take into next week and beyond. And an opportunity now for Kieran Walker to improve that 4 into 6. Struck it well, it's holding up in the wind a bit, just falls short. And that will frustrate Oldham, won't it, as you mentioned, as we see the try again. It's really good ball movement. Thorber does really well. Good offload from Taylor, but that will be frustrating from an Oldham perspective. They've not been able to keep that clean sheet. Steve, is that kind of time of the game already? It's flown by, actually, the second half. Just need you to have a think of your Betfred player of the match.
There's a few nominations for that, isn't there?
A few moments to think about it as Craven gets us back underway. Grant Reid carrying back. So Steve, if you could, your Betfred player of the match.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of real nominations, from this Workington side. I think Brennan's done really well. I think Thorber, on both half-backs, Walker's certainly done well. Lepori's come under the pressure. From this Oldham side, you could pick a number, but and the player that's been at the back end of everything is Togo Guy.
So there we go, Phoenix Laula Togo Guy, your Betfred player of the match, I have to say. I agree with you, Steve. He's been excellent at full-back this afternoon for Oldham. Brilliant in defence, really lively with ball in hand and a constant threat throughout. And he'll be getting on that bus with 2 points added to the total for Oldham as they continue their quest for promotion back to the Betfred Championship and beyond. And a real stern test. I think Sean Long will be pleased, won't he, with the test that they have had today and the work that they've had to put in to get this win.
It's certainly not been a gimme, has it? When you look at where Oldham are in the table and you look at where Workington are in the table and recent results, I think both sides can take an awful lot from it. I think Sean can be really impressed with his side. Excellent win, nice and patient, scored some great tries. From a Workington point of view, they've showed some fantastic, teamwork, team spirit, everything that Anthony Murray would have wanted before the game.
So there we have it. There is the full-time hooter, and it is Oldham who take the win here in this Betfred League One clash. 28 points to 4 against the stubborn Workington Town team. It really did make life difficult for them at times. But in the end, it is a comfortable scoreline in favour of Oldham. They can head back down the M6, knowing they will be top of Betfred League One tonight. Fantastic to be able to continue our coverage of this competition here on the Sportsman. Privileged to have you with us wherever in the world you are watching from. We'll have details very shortly in the next days and weeks about the coverage for the rest of the season. But here today it is Oldham who have come out on top. Here's just a reminder of how those points were scored. And Steve, I'll leave you to talk us through these as I head down to catch up with the coach.
Yeah, the first one, that Ben O'Keefe, just that error from Workington, from Taylor. And then Ben O'Keefe just on that right arm carry. Good cover attempt there from Workington, little left foot step. But he's been a real threat on that left edge as Ben O'Keefe all the game. And then Wilder just came at dummy half, and that man Craven, who's been instrumental in everything that Oldham's done, his kicking game, his running game. On that occasion, little show and go, fantastic work, and that just sharp change of pace and showing his quality, putting the ball down the line for Oldham. That was just before half-time as well, which obviously changed the way that the half-time team talks go. And then Wilder just linking up there with Logan Astley, and then a fantastic try, that left to right side play which they favoured all game. And then the full-back, the man of the match, Togo Guy, just a little tip on. And then from a restart, it was that man, Jack Johnson. And then Astley just coming on that right-hand side. little 2v1, showing pace, great support play from the standoff. Just that inside play again from the fullback Toga guy. Just was nice and patient, didn't panic, and then that right to left side shift, all the pivots involved in it. Wilder linking up in that 13 position. And then Kean Tyra just holding his touchline. A little fortunate with the slip, but managed to get the ball over. Been prolific in the last few weeks as Tyra on that left edge. And then we've got a little tip on again, that right to left side shift, Toga guy and Ben O'Keefe just linking up, taking the ball right to the line, little 2v1, and Ben O'Keefe just holding his line. And then just rewards from this Workington team. Forber, little show and go, keeping the ball alive, then Taylor, that little right arm flick, and Lepori, who's been a really impressive signing for this Workington team, just going over in this right hand side. But Oldham will be disappointed with that left edge. Tyra, O'Keefe, been really good with the ball, but they've got to do better. But a great finish there from Lepori. And now we'll go down to Lewis, who's with the player of the match.
Well, Finnis, congratulations. You are the player of the match. How pleased are you with the performance from yourself and your teammates today?
Yeah, really pleased. I thought we stuck to the process, stuck to the long game, which is what we were talking about the whole time before the match in the build-up. I think the score reflected that. They only scored 4 points, which we're disappointed with, but yeah, really happy with that.
But Workington kept you honest, made you keep coming back to take your chances. Did you know that there was an element of just staying patient and waiting for those chances to come?
I think again we've just been speaking about that the whole week. I think in past or previous games been a bit impatient, but we just stuck with the cycle, and even though we didn't put like 50 points on them, still a dominant victory, I thought.
And you move on into the rest of the season, obviously 2 more points in the bag, staying at the top of the table. Must be a real confidence growing amongst the group that you can go on and do something really special this year.
Yeah, I think after that Keighley game it was a bit of a wake-up call, and yeah, I think if we just if we keep building on this, we'll be sweet for the season.
Yeah, you're getting some attention from the locals. It's a difficult place to come this, but a real vocal crowd, as we say, a Workington team that really showed up. But you guys as well, you must be really pleased with the effort levels today. It never really dropped from you guys.
Yeah, I think in this team we got loads of talent. We got enough talent to win this league, but it's the effort and turning up every game that will ultimately get us those victories.
Well, Phoenix, congratulations again on your player of the match performance. We'll just swap
Cheers.
over to your head coach, Sean Long.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good.
Sean, congratulations on the win. What's your general assessment of that performance?
I thought we started a little bit slow, if we're being honest. A couple of discipline areas, but full credit to Workington. They came out firing, and we had to defend our line for quite a bit in that first half, but in the second half we started running downhill, and it was a lot better second half.
You had to show some real patience at times, and as we say, Workington really kept you honest in terms of defence. Were you pleased with the way that your team stuck at it and didn't overplay and just kept to processes?
Yeah, 100%. We simplified it. Second half, just started playing through the middle. I think we was going a bit coast to coast in the first half, but we started ripping inside shoulders off second half, and then we stayed nice and calm down the other end of the field, which is great. So good performance to come here at Workington. It's never an easy place to get a win, and full credit to the boys. But I just want to say to fans, great today for supporting us.
Yeah, you're really vocally back from supporters throughout that game. You mentioned beforehand about getting some bodies back and some players back in. You mentioned Joe Wardle especially. How much of a bonus was that in terms of your interchange strategy, having those to kind of roll on?
Yeah, it was massive for us. We needed him because ET had a HIA, so we had to get Joe on, and then he went back on. So obviously stiffens up as well. RD, he's a good leader, and I think he set the tone in the second half when he came back on.
So it sets you up, obviously, this run in, this kind of final third of the season. Are you where you want to be?
I hope so. I think we're top of the league at the moment, so we're in a decent position. But there's still areas where we need to work on.
Well, Sean, thank you for joining us. Congratulations. Enjoy the journey home and the week ahead. We'll just swap you in for your opposite number. Anthony, you must be really proud of the effort that your team put in there today in difficult circumstances again.
Yeah, for 60 minutes we went, it was only 8-0. We went toe-to-toe with undoubtedly the best team in the competition, along with sort of Keighley running them closely. So, I can't, thank my players enough for the effort and the commitment that they've shown, and that's all I can ask for. And we did. We had a right dig, and like I said, for 60 minutes we went toe-to-toe with, arguably one of the best teams in the division.
You mentioned the new signings that you brought in during the week. I thought they were both pretty impressive today.
Yeah, Brad Brennan did good stint there. Showed a real impact and showed what it obviously will bring to us. Richard, took his try well and did really well coming out of yardage. Got us on that front foot, but yeah, just really pleased with the effort from the players.
You mentioned before the game that the injury problems that you've had. It seemed like you picked up probably another couple more today. How difficult is it to pick the boys up when they can kind of see that happening around them?
We've got a good culture within our group, and we've got a lot of unity, and we just stick together and keep working hard. And the next person we put in there, he's got to just take his chance and work hard in that position, and that's all you can do. Just keep moving forward and moving lads about, and try to get a couple of players in it if needed, and just keep working hard on what we want to do.
You must feel you're doing the right things, and that the change in the tides is close in terms of results.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you've got to stay true to your values, haven't you, as a coach, and your philosophies as a coach, and that's what I'll carry on doing. And the players buy in and they work hard for each other, and that's all we can keep doing. Nothing comes easy in life that's worth having. You've got to work for it, and I'm sure we'll keep working hard, and hopefully a couple of results will come our way, and we'll get a bit of luck.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. Best of luck with the rest of the week and the games coming up. We'll just swap you out now for
no worries, thanks a lot.
A co-commentator. Steve, Anthony there just speaking about how proud he was of the effort that his team had put in, and loads of that on display. Sean Long happy with what his team had put together. It's an interesting one. Obviously, one team goes home the winner, one team goes home the loser, but you kind of feel like they're both pretty pleased with the work.
I think you're right. I think professional sport's all about winning and losing, isn't it? I think we know that, and I think Anthony and Sean will be well aware of that. But I think you've nailed it there. I think both coaches, I was really impressed with Oldham. I think it's they're on a no-win situation coming here, but I was really impressed. They were patient first half, defended well, and then scored some fantastic tries. And tactically, you can see, unpredictable at times. From Anthony's point of view, he can be really pleased with the effort. He won't say it and he won't make excuses, but there's a lot of injuries, a lot of turmoil with regards to getting players on the field, and you saw a couple of wingers going down injured as well. So he can be really proud of his team today.
Oh, we mentioned it in commentary, not the kind of big scoreline that we've seen Oldham put up in some of the games this season, but in a lot of ways having a real physical dogged test like that as we enter the really important part of the year, it must feel like the kind of perfect preparation at this stage for sure.
I think so. The thing that impressed me most about Oldham is at times they made breaks, and it could have been they could have gone away from the game plan. They didn't do that because with respect to Workington, they will get bigger and better challenges going into the playoffs, and they've been beaten once, so they've got some good sides in that division. But you could see it was Danny Craven kicking to Lapore. It was the middles. They were moving the ball about well. They moved the pivots around well. The spine of the team was very good, and they stuck to the game plan. I think that's what Sean will be really pleased with.
Well, Steve, thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Oldham sit top of Betfred League One tonight then as we approach the running. Keep your eye across our social media, of course. We'll have more details soon about our coverage for the rest of the year. And it's international break in the Betfred Super League coming up, so we'll be in England camp this week as well. Keep an eye out for the last tackle Wednesday night as ever, and we'll see you next time.
That is a remarkable finish.
Burke goes for the corner, and Leah Burke's in. And it's Tamsin Renew. The pass from Holly Dodd.
And this could be the first goal of the game because London are going to get them and touch down. He's gone for the same ball, and it's going to work.
Beautiful.
They might score the winner. And North Wales have another.
Brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through.